In the quiet town of Stratford-upon-Avon, a gentle breeze carried the song of birds and the soft flow of the river Avon. On a cool morning in April 1564, Mary and John Shakespeare welcomed their newborn son William into this peaceful world. Their home was small but warm, filled with light from narrow windows and the simple comforts of candlelight. From his first breath, William became part of a family that valued hard work, kindness, and the stories woven into everyday life. Mary Shakespeare loved to tell young William tales of local legends and folk wisdom. She spoke of brave knights who rode across moonlit fields, of gentle sprites hiding among wildflowers, and of wise women who read the signs in the clouds. These stories painted William's mind with vivid scenes of magic and mystery. Later, he would recall them as he wrote characters who lived in worlds both real and imagined. John Shakespeare worked as a glove maker, shaping soft leather into fine gloves for townspeople and travelers. William often watched his father's careful hands, noting how each stitch added strength and beauty to the leather. From John, he learned that patience and precision could turn simple materials into objects of value. This lesson would guide William when he crafted his own tools, words. As a boy, William loved to play beneath the tall elm trees that lined Stratford streets. He gathered friends under wide branches, using sticks for swords and leaves for banners. Together they acted out small dramas, a brave knight rescuing a friend, a clever fox outwitting a hunter, a kind queen seeking justice for her people. William pinned painted leaves to low branches as backdrops and used smooth stones for hidden treasure. In those moments of play, he practiced the art of storytelling without even knowing it. At 7 years old, William entered King's New School, a free grammar school for the sons of Stratford. Each morning he walked along narrow lanes in a plain wool tunic, satchel over his shoulder. Inside the classroom, the teacher's voice rang clear and strong. William studied Latin, learning the words of Ovid, Virgil, and Cicero. He memorized their poems and speeches, imagining the grand temples of Rome and the rolling hills of Greece. Though the lessons were hard, William found joy in unlocking the meaning of every new word. During short breaks, William climbed the low stone wall beside the schoolyard to skip flat stones across the river. He paused to watch the ripples spread, linking each bounce with the rhythm of his own heartbeat. Lying on the soft grass, he watched clouds drift across the sky. In their shapes he saw ships at sea, giant mountains, or faces of ancient heroes. These quiet moments fed his imagination, giving him a private world where ideas could grow. Stratford was not all calm and beauty. Market days brought noise and bustle. Wagons creaked over cobblestones, merchants called out prices, and farmers led their horses laden with grain. William learned that life held both joy and hardship. He saw families rejoice over a good harvest, and others worry when storms threatened their homes. From these observations, he understood that people carried many emotions: hope, fear, pride, and sorrow, all at the same time. In the evenings, William sat by the hearth as his mother read passages from Old English tales. The flicker of the fire cast dancing shadows on the walls, making every character seem alive. William listened with rapt attention, feeling the excitement of each twist and turn. When the tale ended, he closed his eyes and saw the story replay in his mind, vibrant and full of color. By the time William reached his early teens, the seeds of his future had already been sown. The songs of birds, the flow of the Avon, the glow of a candlelit room, and the lessons of Latin verses all formed the foundation of his young mind. He carried these memories with him, ready to transform them into words that would one day fill stages, captivate hearts, and cross oceans. In Stratford-upon-Avon, the boy who played with sticks and leaves was growing into a storyteller whose voice would echo through time. When William reached his 18th year, his life in Stratford began to change in surprising ways. Not far from his family home lived Anne Hathaway, a gentlewoman known for her kind smile and steady voice. Anne was 8 years older than William, but their differences only brought them closer. He admired her calm strength, and she was drawn to his bright curiosity. In a small ceremony at the village church, they spoke simple vows and promised to share their lives. Their wedding was not marked by grand feasts or royal attention, just family, friends, and the warm glow of candlelight. Soon after their marriage, William and Anne welcomed a daughter, Susanna. William delighted in lifting her onto his shoulders, letting her laugh as he walked through the garden. He nicknamed her Little Sparrow because of her soft, happy chirps. 2 years later, twins arrived, a boy named Hamnet and a girl named Judith. William read gentle rhymes to them each night and watched their laughter fill the rooms he once thought too quiet. For a time, their family felt complete and joyful, but life can shift in a single moment. When Hamnet fell ill, the house grew heavy and silent. Anne and Susanna tended him with soft words and warm cloths. William sat by his son's bedside, holding his small hand and whispering comfort. Despite their care, Hamnet's fever did not break. After many days, the boy slipped away at age 11. William felt a deep sorrow, as if part of his own heart had been carried into the earth. He walked alone along the riverbank, calling Hamnet's name into the wind. Though the pain was sharp, it taught William the depth of human grief, a lesson he would carry into his writing. In the months that followed, William spent long evenings by a single candle, writing short poems that he never shared. He placed them in a wooden chest beneath his bed, where they lay hidden like seeds waiting to sprout. He felt an urgent need to find a new path, one that could honor the memories he held dear. Letters to Anne spoke of his restless heart and distant dreams. He wrote that he missed her laughter and the quiet comfort of home, but he believed a greater journey beckoned. The story of William's lost years is filled with mystery. Some say he worked as a schoolmaster in a nearby village, guiding young minds through Latin lessons. Others suggest he traveled with actors, performing small roles in courtyards and taverns. There are even tales that he risked trouble by hunting on noble lands, forcing him to slip away under cover of darkness. No matter the truth, these years shaped him. He learned to listen to many voices and to read the hidden stories in everyday life. At last, William made his way to London, a city alive with movement and sound. He stepped onto streets crowded with merchants, street vendors, and travelers from distant lands. The air carried the scent of roasting meats, fresh hay, and the salty Thames. He watched actors rehearse scenes on wooden platforms and listened to musicians pluck lively tunes in market squares. Though he felt small among the crowds, a spark of possibility danced in his chest. William found work with a traveling theater company. His first tasks were humble. He carried props, swept the stage, and helped with simple repairs. But he watched every performance with care, learning the rhythm of each line and the way a gesture could speak louder than words. Night after night he studied the players, absorbing their craft. In return, he shared his hidden poems with the troupe, earning praise for his gentle verses and keen insights. Yet life in London was not easy. William missed Anne and his children, and loneliness sometimes pressed upon him like a heavy cloak. In quiet hours, he penned letters home, describing the city's grandeur and his longing for family. He imagined Susanna's bright smile and Judith's curious questions. He dreamed of the day he might return with new stories to tell. As he settled into his new life, William began to write longer scenes. He sketched characters who wrestled with love, jealousy, and honor, feelings he knew well from his own experiences. He wrote of young men torn between duty and desire, and of women whose strength shone even in despair. These early drafts were raw but honest, filled with the truth of human hearts. Word of his talent spread, and by 1592 plays attributed to him appeared on London playbills. A nobleman who saw one of his performances spoke of the clever writer from Stratford, and soon theater managers sought William's growing gifts. Though the road ahead remained uncertain, he carried with him the lessons of home, the warmth of Anne's voice, the memory of Hamlet's laughter, and the resilience born of loss. In the busy streets and flickering lantern light, William Shakespeare found his calling. He crossed the threshold of an ordinary life and stepped into a world where his words would one day shine like stars across the stage of history. When William arrived in London, he joined a talented group of actors called the Lord Chamberlain's Men. He learned from performers like Richard Burbage and Will Kemp, watching how they moved on stage and spoke their lines clearly. At first, William took small roles in plays, but he soon showed he had a special gift for writing. He sketched scenes about kings and battles, about love and betrayal, and the company listened with growing excitement. His early history plays, like Henry VI, brought bold speeches and stirring moments that made audiences cheer. In 1599, the Lord Chamberlain's Men built a new playhouse on the south bank of the Thames. They called it the Globe. The Globe was simple but strong. Its stage jutted out into an open yard where people from all walks of life came to watch. Gentlemen sat in covered galleries, while others stood in the yard, close to the wooden floor. By day, the sun lit the stage. By night, candles shone in the galleries. In that open space, William's words could travel far, reaching every ear. At the Globe, William found a place that felt like home. He helped design the costumes, choosing rich colors for kings and flowing dresses for queens. He advised on simple scenery, trees for forests, benches for courts, cloths for castles. He watched actors bring his characters to life, feeling joy when their acting matched the feelings he had poured into the script. He experimented with new ideas, a ghost walking on stage, a storm that howled with drums, lovers meeting at midnight. The crowd gasped, laughed, and sometimes wept. William's most powerful plays grew from this fertile ground. In Hamlet, he created a prince torn by doubt and longing. The famous words, "to be or not to be," asked a question that still echoes today. In Othello, he showed how jealousy could turn love into tragedy. In King Lear, he explored a father's pride and a child's betrayal, with echoes of grief that reminded William of his own loss. Macbeth told of ambition's dark cost and guilt's heavy burden. Each play carried deep feelings but spoke in language so clear that people of every background could follow the story. Yet William did not write only great tragedies. He also penned lively comedies. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, fairies danced among mortals and laughter filled the air. In Twelfth Night, mistaken identities brought surprises and joy. These lighter tales celebrated friendship, love, and the gentle magic that can brighten dark days. At the Globe, children clapped, and older folk smiled, remembering their own dreams. As William's fame grew, the company gained the favor of King James I. The Lord Chamberlain's Men became the King's Men, and they performed before the royal court. William wrote The Tempest, a final masterpiece full of magic, forgiveness, and the hope of new beginnings. In the play, Prospero, a powerful magician, gives up his art and finds peace, an echo of William's own journey toward rest. After many years on stage and at the desk, William decided to return to Stratford-upon-Avon. He left London but took the memories of the globe with him. The roar of the crowd, the creak of the stage, the gleam of lantern light. Back home, he walked the same riverbanks where he had played as a boy. He lived in the house where Mary and John had raised him, sharing stories of actors and dramas with neighbors who once knew him only as a quiet child. William Shakespeare passed away on April 23, 1616. In his will, he left his second-best bed to Anne, a touching reminder of their life together. 7 years later, his friends John Hemingway and Henry Condell collected 36 of his plays into the first folio. Without that book, many of his greatest works might have been lost forever. Today, William's words still live on stages around the world. His language added new words to English, words like lonely bedroom and assassination, and his phrases such as all's well that ends well and love is blind have entered everyday speech. Students in distant lands learn English by reading his plays. Actors bring new life to his characters, finding fresh meaning in every line. From a simple boy in Stratford to the Bard of Avon, William Shakespeare showed that a storyteller's voice can outlast time itself, touching hearts and minds across centuries. William Shakespeare's life shows how a simple boy from a small town can grow into a great storyteller. From his early days in Stratford-upon-Avon, listening to his mother's folk tales and watching his father work as a glove maker, he learned patience, imagination, and the power of words. His school lessons in Latin opened his mind to the beauty of language. As a young man, he faced joy in marriage and deep sorrow when his son Hamnet died. Yet he turned pain into poetry and began to write in London. At the Globe Theatre, he brought to life kings, lovers, and common people, using simple yet powerful language that spoke to every heart. His comedies made people laugh, and his tragedies made them think. When he finally returned home, he carried with him a legacy that would last for centuries. His plays continued to be performed, and his words became part of everyday English. From Shakespeare's story, we learn that creativity grows from both joy and hardship. Every experience, happy or sad, can become fuel for our dreams. Just as he listened to nature and people around him, we can watch, listen, and turn our own stories into something meaningful. In our modern lives, we can practice patience like John Shakespeare, learn new words like young William, and use our challenges as steps toward our own goals. Congratulations on listening to this story all the way through. You have practiced your English listening and improved your understanding of simple, clear language. Now, let's test your memory. What was the name of William Shakespeare's son who died at age 11? A. Hamnet. B. Henry. Please comment A or B below. If you enjoyed this lesson, please subscribe to our channel to support us and keep receiving more stories for your English practice. Early on, creating quality content takes time and resources. If you can, please consider donating to help us continue this work for free. Thank you for your support.